everyone, welcome back to iHeart Sports. We're here, the MLB season has been announced. They've come to an agreement after a couple of weeks of not figuring out what they're going to do. July 2020, training camps are going to be opening. End of July, around 23rd, 24th, the season is expected to kick off. So let's jump in and look at the agreements that the Players Association and the MLB have come to with regards to the season and how it's going to kind of shape up how the games are going to be played, who's going to play who, as well as maybe some things that aren't quite sure what's going to happen. So let's jump into that. So to kick things off, as I already said, training camp scheduled to start July 1st, so that's going to be just in a couple of days away. Happy Canada Day. It's going to be quite the present for some of us. Regular season expected to start July 23rd/24th. I think they're setting up for one game specifically to play on July 23rd, and it looks like it's going to be the Washington Nationals versus the New York Yankees. So that's a pretty interesting game, an awesome way to kick off the regular season. The plan is to have a 60-game schedule that is kind of set up to have it so limited travel is happening between the teams. So for the example I'm going to use here, the Blue Jays, they will have 10 games against each of their divisions. So the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Devil Rays, or the Rays, and the Orioles. And then the other 20 games are going to be played against the NL East because they're in the American League East. The NL East is going to match up with them, so I'm assuming they'll have like a 4-game series against each one of those teams. So like the Phillies, the Marlins, the Mets, the Braves, and whatever other team I am forgetting right there. So that's kind of interesting. It's going to set up for pretty balanced schedule. Everyone in the divisions is going to have basically the exact same schedule as each other. And that'll help set up for somewhat of what a fair assessment of who should make the playoffs should be. So the expectation is that the rules and the format for the playoffs are going to be the exact same. So 5 teams on each side are going to make it to the dance with the wild card matchup, the bottom 2 wild card teams playing for that one spot, and I think it's going to be the exact same 5 games, 7 games, 7 games from there. There's been some rule changes, most specifically the DH is going to be added to the National League, so it's going to be DH across the league. This is only for this season. I know they're trying to get it to be in other seasons as well, but for now it is just this season. They're also testing out a new rule for the extra innings where in extra innings, 10th inning, they will start with a player on second base. It will be the last out of the prior inning. So it's kind of going to make it interesting in the fact that there will be a lot of sac bunts and then sac flies to score that run and the player on second. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out during the regular season. However, the playoffs are going to be just regular format. That rule won't apply for the playoffs going forward. Every team is going to have a 30-man roster when the season kicks off. I think the idea behind this is for more teams to carry a couple more pitchers. It's going to be early in the season, less time to warm up the arms and stuff like that. So they don't want to push their pitchers too much. So they're going to start with 30-man rosters. It's going to eventually reduce to 28, and then eventually again reduce to 26. Without any minor leagues and that going on, the taxi squads and that are going to be much bigger. And trade deadline August 31st. Guess it's a little bit later than normal, but when it comes to the season, that kind of makes sense. They're going to have one whole month following that before the playoffs start. I think the idea is the playoffs are going to start regular time right at the beginning of October. And so let's jump into kind of the idea of what they're going to do with the DL. It's a little bit different given that COVID is a big issue with the restart plan here. So when it comes to the IL, it's the same thing with the 10-day injured reserve list here. It's the same as it's been in prior years. The 60-day injured reserve list has been changed to a 45-day. And then they also have added this COVID-specific list where players that show symptoms or feel like they have symptoms or have been diagnosed will be put on this specific list. There is no minimum and no maximum, so as soon as you get the symptoms or are diagnosed, you get put on this list, and as soon as you're able to come back and play, I guess, no symptoms, test-free, etc., then you'll be eligible to play again. So as of right now, that's basically what we kind of know what the season's going to entail. We got 60 games. We're kicking off in July. There is a few things that might change from then. As you know, with COVID going around, everything is kind of by the minute, by the day, what's going to happen. It's interesting what we're going to see with the Toronto Blue Jays specifically, being Canada's only team. Are they going to set up a camp outside and where they're going to play their stadiums in the States? We have a couple of teams that are in cities that are really just starting to get their biggest waves of COVID, so we're not sure how they're going to react to this as well. The biggest difference with the MLB is that they are planning to do the travel to and from each city as opposed to the NHL and NBA, who are having their hub cities. So how they're going to react to that with certain cities like Houston, for example, who is having huge breakouts right now, it remains to be seen what they're going to do, but we have a date. That's really the best we've had so far in 2020. So keep your fingers crossed. If you're into MLB and other sports, make sure you drop a like, drop a subscription. We're going to be coming out with lots of videos over the MLB season, NHL playoffs, and stuff like that. So make sure you follow along. We'll see you around. Peace out for now.